All right, so
and to our
domestic
viewers.
flight traffic already exceeded 2021 statistics. Same for international travel. When do we expect this to peak this year? And can the same be said for other segments of the tourism industry? Can you confidently say the sector is already on bounce back mode?
Well, cautiously, I'll say that we are on bounce back mode. Um, our statistics are showing that we're recovering maybe a little bit faster than we expected, which is actually a good development. Through the first week of August, we already have 1.1 million foreign arrivals. And my initial projection was only around 1 million to 1.2 by the end of this year. So we're actually getting more arrivals at a faster rate than initially anticipated.
All right.
And looking forward, no, you were asking about when will it peak? Definitely starting November, December, the traditional winter months, the tourists, especially from the long haul markets of Europe, North America, will be starting to arrive, and this is usually the peak season for that part of the world to come to the Philippines.
All right. Sir, to what extent is this backlog travel, revenge travel, or normalized pre-pandemic ways of traveling? And are there specific travel trends that you are now observing when it comes to the tourism industry?
Okay. As far as what we're looking at, as far as tourism is concerned, two things. No, we're looking at the prices of petroleum products because it affects travel, not only jet fuel but also the transportation costs in our local destinations. So that tends to bring up the price of travel. The people traveling right now are probably people who had money saved up through the pandemic, and that's why they're traveling. They have the resources. What we have to look at now is moving forward to 2023, 2024, how those factors will play into to travel patterns. Will the airfares get too high that it will preclude people from traveling, or will it be stable enough that we can maintain the growth that we're having right now? Then secondly, of course, we're still looking at COVID-19. It's still there, but what we've found out is that people are more resilient with regard to that. They really want to travel, and they feel as long as they take the proper precautions, and then the destination they're going observes all the health protocols, and they feel safe enough. So we haven't really seen any drop-offs despite of the Philippines being placed on level 3 by the CDC about a week or so ago. So yon, yeah.
Sir, can you say that we are becoming less reliant on the biggest countries that used to, of course, be our main tourism markets, China, even Japan, and now shifting towards domestic travel? And with these figures, can we say that the domestic travel economy is actually absorbing the losses from these big international players?
Okay, that's a good question, Danny. There's a little bit of truth in that, no. In the statistics that we had prior to the pandemic, of the almost 3 trillion pesos that tourism generated in 2019, almost 2 trillion or 2 trillion of that was generated from domestic travel. So the domestic travel is really is the strongest segment as far as travel is concerned. So, and it is accepted, no, by the UNWTO and by most countries that in the short to the medium term, domestic travel will be the most reliable source of traffic for tourists in any country. As far as the international markets are concerned, it's not that we're not being less reliant on China or Japan. It's just that we have to do with what we have right now because those countries still have issues to deal with as far as COVID is concerned. So if China and Japan opened earlier this year, instead of doing 1.1 by August, we would probably be closer to 2-3 million by now. So it's just a matter of waiting. Once those countries reopen, I think we'll stick to the projection that we will start to get the pre-pandemic numbers by 2024.
Now, which other markets do you think are filling those gaps, at least being left at the moment by China and Japan? And in terms of destinations here, which locations at least are buoying those numbers for us?
As far as markets, Jess, we were very pleasantly surprised that it's really the long haul market that's keeping us up. No, this would be Europe, this would be North America, to a certain extent, Australia, South Korea also reopened, so we're getting a lot of them coming in now. So those are the markets that they're looking at. It won't replace the two big markets that we have in China and Japan, but they're coming in numbers. Again, no, I keep saying the word unexpected because we were the first country in the ASEAN to open up almost totally. So I think that played a role in attracting people to come here. Your second question, sorry,
Regarding locations, which do you think at least locations here
well,
are pushing demand?
okay. As far as locations are concerned, of course, you still have your favorites like Boracay, El Nido, Bohol, Cebu. But we're picking up tourists. They're going to other destinations now, like Dumaguete, Siquijor, up north, of course, Ilocos. And what we're finding out now is that they are still looking for new places to visit in the Philippines. So I think it's about time for us to really start developing more of our 7,000 islands to have more offerings for tourists. And that also gives repeaters a reason to come back.
Is there at least a particular location you're eyeing here that you think would somehow at least help further boost our numbers, apart from the staples, of course?
Yeah, well, you have Bicol, for instance. No? It's always been an underrated destination. Maybe it gets a bad rap because it's in the path of typhoons and storms. But Bicol is rich in tourism activities. Other islands like Romblon, Masbate, things like that. No, maybe we just aren't featuring them enough as a matter of accessibility and interconnectivity with the other destinations. But once those issues are addressed, it's quite easy to bring people. It would be quite easy to use them to attract tourists to come.
Now, at the same time, Jojo, of course, our recovery will be compared to the rest of the region as well as other regions. There are studies that point, that tourism recovery in Asia Pacific will be slower compared to other markets. Question now is, how is our recovery faring compared to our neighbors, the likes of Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam?
Just in a way, I see that sometimes as comparing apples and oranges. We all have our different strengths as far as recovering is concerned. I think what you'll find out now is that the Philippines, because of our infrastructure, because of our facilities, we may not get the same number of tourists coming in. Like, let's say Thailand is doing 10, we're doing 1 million. It's not really a fair comparison. What we will look at there is expenditures per tourist. How much are they spending here compared to the other destinations? If you look at those indicators, I think we're doing a pretty good job, pound for pound with the other ASEAN destinations. Plus, the fact that I think now in ASEAN, I think we have one of the easiest guidelines coming in. No? We did away already with the testing upon arrival, quarantine, all of those things. So we remain to be an attractive destination as far as that is concerned.